Item, public input. There is nobody here for public input, so we will go to the consideration of minutes of previous meetings. I missed the last meeting, but
So did I.
Yep. Looks good. Just let me check the date on it real quick.
Oh. Yeah. Well, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second it, even though I wasn't there.
okay,
Yeah.
so we have a motion and a second.
Okay, discussion.
Yeah.
So just looking at,
So the date for the approval of the last meeting is the minutes for 11/27 were approved. Well, it says here approved twice. The first one should say 11/13. The meeting minutes. Sorry. So we need to change that so it reflects the right days that we approved both sets of meeting minutes at the last meeting. That's change one. Change two would be at the end. I think my guess is it was just copied over wrong from somewhere else. The motion to adjourn the meeting wasn't made by Brunel and Schaefer. So,
Oh, that would be a selectmen's meeting, I would
Yeah.
guess, yeah.
so I can't, off the top of my head, I mean, I know Colleen did one of the two. I'm not sure who did the other one. It was either Peter or Keith, I think.
yeah, I think it's Keith.
You can watch the video probably and
Yeah.
look it up, right?
So,
Just update that.
so,
Come on, Matt, you're better than that. Talking about the guy that does the minutes. I know you. You've done better work. What are you doing?
anyway, so I think that so I make a motion to amend the minutes to reflect that, the first set of minutes that were approved for the 11/13/18 meeting. And that the adjournment motion is to be updated to properly reflect who motioned and seconded it.
And one more, just at the top, the meeting date was the 8th. Here it has today's meeting date on the top of the meeting.
No, it was actually the meeting date that he said, the one online's different than the one that was sent around.
Yep.
Had the meeting date of 1/8.
Okay, then, never mind.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor of the approval with the changes suggested? Aye. So,
Yeah, we can accept, I mean, even though we weren't there, we can accept the meeting minutes, right?
Right.
Okay, yes.
carries 4-0. All right, facility and field requests. We have the one for the cornhole tournament. We don't have the actual request thing on a form yet, but
No, well, I think it was a whole debate as to whether it would be allowed or not allowed, or
I had left a message with the man because he sounded like he wanted an answer right away. And I was just in the spirit of the way we've been handling it. I said, if it isn't a town endorsed group activity, it would be hard for us to rent that to him. And I wasn't trying to make a decision for the board, but that's kind of the way we've been going. So I just wanted to.
well, I guess the question comes down to does he live in the town? Do we know
Yeah.
if he lives in the town? I mean, we've allowed fundraisers to be held at Talon Hall by people who requested from the town for fundraisers which aren't,
Yeah,
going
Yeah.
back, like 603, the 603 cornhole tournament.
yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a fundraiser that's held in town.
This is for veterans.
Yeah.
'Cause I follow that link that he sent.
Yeah. He wasn't very explicit with what it was for originally. He just said it's for this thing, and I didn't know
Right.
what it was for. And I know that's not a town thing. So I didn't mean to shut the guy down,
Yeah.
but I just was following the will of the board the way we've done it in the past. So that's why it was.
I mean, walking it back a little bit, looking at it, because it is BAE sponsoring this for,
Yeah.
and I'm sure there's a ton of people in town that work for BAE, and it's right. I mean, literally, you can throw a rock onto their property from Litchfield.
Yeah. From
Not that you would, because you'd get in trouble.
they got cards.
But I think it's definitely something that we should look into.
I mean, Keith sent the email. He said, visit the website. I mean, realistically, the website was fine and all. It tells what it is, but it doesn't really, give us the link into
What they're about.
like why they're looking for talent to do it.
Mhm.
Now, my guess would be he's either participated in
Oh yeah, one of our
one of the
others.
tournaments
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
or someone told him that, Talent's has hosted a tournament in the past. There.
Well, if you look at even the facilities in Hudson, though, Talent Hall is probably closer to the BA 102 than anything in Hudson.
I'm saying.
Do people actually work there though? I thought that was just a radar facility. I mean, I don't think they have a plant there.
What I'm saying is my guess is that someone with familiarity of playing a cornhole tournament at Talent
Mhm.
probably suggested it to him.
But again, I mean, it goes with, we've talked about this before, and it's like, all right, we can let this happen, but then are we going to let somebody have little Johnny's birthday party? And then are we going to let somebody, you know what I mean? Like again, I understand what it's for. I know that it's cornhole and it's a very, we are very engrossed in cornhole with a lot of people in this town. But the point is that, either we're going to do something, widespread for everybody when they approach us, or we're not. And that's where I was coming from.
No, I get that, but my question again, this comes down to coming up with a real policy, because a birthday isn't the same as a fundraiser.
Yeah, yeah,
So there's a vast difference in that.
yeah. I get it. I mean, I was going from one extreme to the other, but my
Right.
point was,
No,
where do we stop?
I mean, we have to look at realistically, if it's a fundraiser,
Mhm.
and if it's someone in town's bringing it to us, or whatever, we have to treat it as like another fundraiser.
Yeah.
603, that's a fundraiser run by people in town, but it's a fundraiser for outside organizations. It's not a fundraiser for us or anything, for the town.
But
That-
Keith is part of that too, though. The 603, the cornhole league. So that kind of helps us
Right. and,
create that
I mean,
bond, the tie with them.
And I understand. So, realistically, I really think it's one of those more information still needed.
Mhm. Yep.
Because we don't need, because realistically, like a random request, we're going to have to discuss. But it's a fundraiser, and if someone in town is going to come up and step forward and say it's, part of what they're doing, then we'd be basing it on history.
Yeah.
It's something we've done before.
So maybe we should just come up with a quick list of questions that we would have for him to send and have him respond to us. Maybe, specifically, how does this benefit the town?
Yep.
Is it sponsored, are people that are involved from town?
Mhm.
And obviously then we have the insurance issue. Is alcohol going to be served? If it is, we need to get a police detail.
Yep.
The basics. So I'd be comfortable sending that email off, and I'll copy everybody on it.
Okay.
And have him respond. And I'll also attach the form
Yeah.
so you can fill out the form. And
Again, I wasn't trying to be a jerk. I just
No.
was, that's the way we've all kind of, migrated in a different direction. So
so I'll mark down that I'll send the email.
Thank you.
I'll make a list, because last time I didn't make a list, I forgot to do stuff.
well, there are actionable items on the minutes too sometimes. So that helps once in a while.
Yeah, but I want to remember when I get home tonight and just do it tonight.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. So are there any other field requests?
I did not see any, no.
Okay, new business, Talent Hall. So Kurt sent us the pictures. Two things with Talent Hall. First, I guess we should talk about the heat.
Yep.
Uh,
We need a new system.
And did you get I don't know if everybody got copied on the email today. Let me just. Doug sent me. He said the heating system was reset early this afternoon by Affiliated Services and was checked a little while ago by me and is running correctly at this time. So this was at 4:05 this evening.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I didn't get that. That's cool.
Affiliated stated that there are too many switches and relays which are old, antiquated, and also had fire damage in the past, which if disturbed could cause even more issues. They thought it would be best to nurse the system along and continue to reset it the rest of the winter, than try and spend the time to figure out the cause, which could prove costly to the town. Two of the company owners and one technician are Litchfield taxpayers who are trying to keep the repair charges to the town as minimal as possible. They will meet with me later this week and walk me through the reset process they use so we can manage the system until spring, providing the processes that work today works again. It has worked repeatedly in the last several weeks. So Doug will be taking care of it. So, basically, and I agree, one of the emails I sent to him is like, yeah, if we can just, this is not the time to replace the heating system.
No.
So, just try and get it through the next, and we're talking, 6 weeks, 8 weeks?
Yeah.
Before the weather starts turning.
And it's not really I think replacing the heating system is an outdoor thing, so I don't think it'll even affect inside that much. So when we do decide to do the work, it's not gonna it might be like a day where they'll just ask pickleball not to play,
Right.
and when they redo the controls. But from what I understand, there's 2 units, and one of them stopped working. The other one's kind of doing all the work now to create heat for the building.
Right. There's supposed to be, and I know it's considered a quick recovery system.
Yeah.
So one is supposed to get it up to temp, one is supposed to maintain temperature. So I think right now the one that is maintaining the temperature is the one that's running.
Yeah.
Which, if that's the case, because I know that's how it seems to be, that's the one that lasts.
Yeah.
But it really has a tough time keeping up with the cold.
Mhm. Well, last night when I went there, I was concerned about the water pipes. Troy Brown actually went with me. It's probably about 6:30 last night, and we insulated some pipes that were, potentially gonna, hopefully not, but maybe freeze and split. Because if we do have water damage, it's going to be a whole lot more money than
Yeah.
replacing the heating system, unfortunately.
Well, the pipes underneath the stage were wrapped with the heater.
But when you open up that little where the water meter is next
Oh,
to
yeah.
the men's room, that's like cold. So there was a hole going out through the concrete for the outside faucet. So we stuffed insulation in there, kind of tried to insulate the pipes a little bit there. We left the doors open. We turned up the ladies' room heat because it's electric heat, and hopefully it would migrate into that room to keep the pipes from freezing. Because if that ever does crack, that's just never gonna. We'll have to replace the flooring and everything.
Yeah.
If it gets, because if it happens overnight, nobody's going to notice till 10 the next morning. It's just going to keep running the water.
So now the town meeting's already happened, right? So for the budget.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that we can add to our budget at this point or through warrant. So we would have to eat the cost of whatever the heating system is under our maintenance of the building.
Yeah. And I think that we could probably, in talking, I don't want to make any commitments, but talking to Troy, I think that we have the ability to fix this problem if it comes up. So it's not going to be it's not going to crush your budget, but
Okay.
I'm thinking we do have a way to make this happen without.
Because in the past, what we talked about is when we wanted to replace this heating system, we wanted to get something that if we didn't have air conditioning on it, something that air conditioning could be added to it easily without, we don't want to replace it and then replace it again. But it would be nice to have air conditioning on that just because we basically lose decent use of that building from, for July and August, even into September. It's tough.
It'd be nice on a rainy day when you're having your outdoor basketball clinics to be able to move inside and have it not be blazing hot in there either,
But also just other events, just to be able to go in there and, have a comedy night in the summer and not be sweltering and have the doors open and all of a sudden the bugs are in there. And all right. So I guess we'll just sort of keep an eye on it and cross our fingers. Hopefully it works. And
just milk it till the end of the winter, and then we can look at replacing it by next year. And it's too bad because I think Colleen and I joked around saying that the hall would be nice if one of us drove our trucks through it by accident. And the sad part is that is such a always used building. I mean, we can't afford to lose it. I mean, everything happens there. So we might as well treat it well while we still have it.
So obviously I was late. What was the cause of the
it's just
The heat
old.
going out.
Yeah, it's
Just, okay.
Yeah.
there's a lot of
And was
like,
it all weekend?
yeah, it's been going up and down all weekend. Now I know Saturday morning it was hot, and then Sunday morning people were saying it was freezing cold in there. But I mean, it also is victim of the temperature outside.
Well, I
too.
did
Right,
see
but it's
one
supposed to,
email.
right now they have it set to do to a constant heat. It's not supposed to
64.
cool. Right, so,
It was down to 28 or something, someone said. In
Yeah,
an email.
it went down to 28. When I went there last night, it was 37. So it was warm compared to 28.
Yeah.
But
You're right. The concern would be obviously pipes bursting.
yeah.
It's, but I mean, everybody says, well, it's an old building, and and I think I remember, if I remember correctly, our old building inspector said, "Why do you want to waste money investing in this building?" Well, we don't have a new one in line yet, so we have to reinvest in this. And
We should make those bays in the fire station bigger so we can actually have basketball, like pull the trucks out, play basketball in there.
well, we can. I'll talk to the chief.
All right, so the other part of Talent Hall is the pictures that Kurt sent. Obviously, I think we need to address with the current groups that are in there. Storage. Well, first of all, the refrigerator, I know pickleball uses the refrigerator consistently. They put waters in there that they use all summer long. I believe pickleball brought that
Yeah.
refrigerator in there.
Oh, okay, all right.
Well, I thought
Yeah.
they
I
did?
think, I think they replaced it.
Okay.
It was empty.
Used, but they brought it in.
Well, it was empty, and it was sounded like a cement mixer running. So Troy unplugged it last night. So,
Okay.
well,
Um,
I don't think
But they only
anybody's
use it
using
for
right
water, so nothing's going to go bad.
now. Yeah. No, there was
And I know
nothing
the
in there.
stove
Absolutely
was
nothing.
purchased by us about 2 years ago. Keith, I know, did that just so that when we did, it was mostly for, I know, like that dinner that the seniors ran, and whenever we do something like that, something that they can, when people bring food, it can be heated
Okay.
and
all right.
served.
But I don't know if it's even, I tried to plug it in the other day for that group that came in for their, I don't know, that fundraiser for, I forget what her
Oh, yeah.
teacher. So
yeah.
we were trying to see because they wanted to bring food. So I plugged it in, but it had
No, it's
didn't
not
turn
working.
on.
No, it's not working.
so
Oh.
if it's broken and just taking up space, it may be,
But that's a fairly new stove.
It looks
I don't
it looks
know.
old.
it does look
Really?
old. So
Very old, yeah.
I don't know if Keith, I don't know if it came out of his house when he was remodeling. I don't know this.
Oh,
I
okay.
can't remember that stove. I know when we were doing Winterfest, Dwayne Dion brought a stove from his home that was usable, and we put it in there. And then Dwayne brought it home. I mean, took it and put it somewhere else. So I don't know where this other stove came from.
I thought we purchased it.
I don't think so. But your memory is
It
probably
might-
better
might-
than mine. I don't know.
Maybe we paid for the installation. I don't know. It was,
Maybe.
um,
But looking at the room, this carpeting rolled up. I don't know what the carpeting's for.
the
It's like-
carpeting is for pitchers and catchers because what was happening before
That is
is,
pictures and catches. I didn't know that is this.
yeah, for,
the brown on the brown roll on the ground.
so, yeah, it's not really rugs, it's the mat.
Yeah. I see
Because what was
that.
happening is when catchers were in there and they were doing practice drills,
Oh.
the equipment, like especially the metal clips
On their
inside,
knees
were
and stuff.
gouging the floor.
Yeah,
So they put
yeah.
that down so that it doesn't gouge the floor.
Okay,
I
all
couldn't
right.
remember what that was. I saw it and I'm like, I have no idea what that is.
I mean, there's Winterfest stuff, and again, I'm just telling you what I'm seeing. I'm not complaining, but I think that we need to
No, it is
figure
messy.
out Winterfest stuff is in the stairway going up, all the way upstairs, in the kitchen. You know what I mean? Like it's people just kind of, wherever they felt they could put it. And I mean, if we're gonna keep the Winterfest stuff, maybe we put it all upstairs. That way, it doesn't get
Yeah,
damaged.
that long sign. I don't know.
Well, it's in the stairway, and
It's in the
that's
stairs because
fine.
it's so long.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know
that's
where
fine.
to put it.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good place for it.
But the Christmas tree, whose is that?
So that was the Litchfield.
Okay.
And
Right.
I've been going back and forth with them about storage because last meeting we did agree to approve storage for them upstairs. So I just need to get in the building with them.
Well, the other
Yeah,
thing too,
things-
if you have that storage, the
Sure.
old snack shack right outside, that's empty as far as I know, unless there's still toys in there from Jessica.
It could be.
Oh, you're talking about on
That
the other
could
side of
have-
the building. I was thinking of the shed. With
No, I'm
the
talking about
tables
the
and
old
chairs.
snack shack that's sitting
Yeah,
there.
that could have toys in it.
But I mean, we should really look at that because especially like the Christmas tree and things like that, you don't want to be lugging that up and down the stairs. And that's not a bad spot. It's not, it can sit there in the summer. It's not going to get damaged. So we should really maybe look at that. But maybe, I mean, the other thing I was thinking is contacting all the groups that use it and say, hey, and pick a weekend, say, look, we're going to be down there this Saturday. Send somebody from your group.
Yep.
You know, pack away what you need, put it where you belong. We're going to decide where it goes. If there's nobody there from the group and we don't know whose it belongs to, it's just going to go. And just almost like a field cleanup that we
Hey,
do.
I mean, if you don't show up, then you're fully open to having dumpster diving after the fact if you need
Well,
something.
And here's the thing, like the other thing is the water fountain.
Well, that radio's been there forever.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it works.
It does.
It does.
Yeah.
But all right, so Troy and I were looking at it and we're like, well, the wires go from, right next to the recycling bin and you got to kind of move the wires to get to the fountain. If you're a bigger person, kids don't have to worry about it. But Troy was like hypothetically saying, what happens if some kid's getting a drink and another one's like, what's this? And
Yeah.
Well, we can tack that up, but Keith got that's our old, he took our old speakers from our old sound system
oh,
and
okay.
they're sitting on, like if you look at where the office is in the storage room, on top of that, there are 2 speakers up there.
Okay. All right. Well, they're on the stage right now.
No, those are the new ones.
That's
Oh,
the,
okay,
yeah,
all
the
right.
one that
Oh.
wheels
There are
around.
2
yeah.
older ones that are sitting way up
Oh,
and those are
all
hooked
right.
to that. So you can actually play, we used it as background music for the comedy night that one time.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So
So it does work.
it does work,
Okay.
yes.
But I mean, if we could just kind of get it so somebody can't yank it down.
Just
that'd be
we'll
great.
tack the wires up.
The recycling bin, I mean, again, I think that kind of goes against an ADA type compliance if somebody wants to get to the bubbler.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, it just little, we were just looking at stuff and saying, all right, there's tripods tucked next to it. There's a recycling bin right in front of it. If somebody's in a wheelchair, they can't get to the water fountain and somebody can pull the radio down. Those are the, a few things. And I think we could get a little bit better if we, what happens is we all use it and we're all concerned about our single use when we're there. And I'm sure we all take care of what we have, but you forget one thing and then the next group forgets one thing. So then it just kind of, it adds up over time. And
Agree.
So all the tables are inside now.
the
Yeah, it
good
looks like
tables.
It
that.
looks like, which is probably good. I mean, it's easy.
It's easy, but honestly, when you have I'm sure, and I'm not there anymore, but I'm sure on Saturday mornings when they have those instructional
All
basketball
those
things in
parents.
there,
Yeah.
that stage isn't fitting all the parents.
That's probably
It
true.
wasn't fitting all the parents when there wasn't all those things.
No, you're right.
So,
You're right. Yeah.
you know what I mean? Realistically, they probably should be on the shed.
Yeah.
In May.
Well, the other thing,
Right, yeah, exactly.
one thing we had toyed around with a couple years ago is
yeah.
underneath the stage, you get a couple casters and you basically make a big drawer, cut out a rectangle, make a big drawer,
Push
put
them
some, and, just be able to wheel it out, stack those tables in there and you roll it underneath.
Yeah.
Cause that's all empty underneath there. And those, as long as the tables aren't flammable,
Yeah.
it's a nice place to store them. They're out of the way.
Mm.
Yeah.
They're not lugging them in and out.
Get good casters, like 4 or 5 inch casters, so
Yeah.
that they're easy to move. Not don't get little tiny wheels and
Right. So we can play around with that. That might be a good Eagle Scout project or something for somebody.
So whenever an Eagle Scout comes in,
Yeah.
right, they could do
We
that.
should have like lists of
Any
things
Eagle
that we-
Scouts out there?
yes, Eagle Scouts.
Uh,
Actually, somebody just asked Susan Haley. She's
What's that?
I don't know if you know Susan Haley.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll ask my wife.
I know the name.
I'll have my
Yeah.
wife ask her because she handles a lot of the older kids and
Perfect.
scouts. So.
'cause, that would just free up a lot of storage in the shed as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else on Talent Hall?
Well, is the plan to send an email out to the leagues? And
Yeah.
just say
Do we want to pick a date? I don't know if.
February 3rd,
Super Bowl
Yeah.
Sunday.
6:40.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's supposed
Have
to,
a big
believe it or
turnout.
not, in my world, it's supposed to snow the 2nd to the 3rd now.
Is it?
Long-term forecast. And I plow. So, yeah. All right. Perfect.
And you're putting any stock in a long-term plan that's 2 weeks away?
They've been wrong and they might be right.
They're always
Yeah,
wrong.
they-
They do.
They're
They
either
do.
wrong or they're right. Oh,
Yeah.
there's a new one.
Yeah.
Um,
It's the only job you
I'll
can
guess.
be half wrong and still get to keep your job. Yeah, I know.
I would say do we want to try and pick a Saturday? Do we want to do,
When is it least busy? When is talent with basketball? When is the,
it's,
Not Saturday morning.
not
Yeah.
Saturday?
Yeah,
Sun-
a lot of
Sunday's
kids.
pretty well packed now that baseball's there in the morning.
Yeah.
Pickleball's there after them. Softball, I don't know if softball's even
I don't know.
requesting any time for Sunday afternoons.
I mean, I honestly feel like a lot of that stuff can go in the dumpster, and I hate to say it, but
Well, it's at least to let them know.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
okay, we're gonna clean.
Well, I mean, we don't actually have to pick a day. We can just pick a date saying have it done by this date,
yeah,
because every group will be in there. And maybe we give them to, February 3rd and say, please organize, anything.
anything related to your organization. And it's funny because I'm not gonna lie. There's like 2 softballs, a baseball, a wiffle ball. I don't know how that got in there. A bunch of deflated basketballs, basketball racks, carpets.
Yeah.
Mop buckets.
Well, the basketball rack's empty. They all looked empty. There's
Yeah.
They all
Nothing
empty,
on
yeah.
them. Where did they go?
Where'd the basketballs go?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, if they were smart, they started making kids bring their own. So
Yeah.
Right, but still, where did the existing?
Those were
ones
always
go?
full.
they
in
were
years past.
honestly most of those weren't.
Yeah.
Oh, they were all
Okay.
skinned
They,
off.
were
Like,
below, they might be upstairs actually.
no, they're not.
No, they're not.
No, I went up
Could
to
have brought
both
some
those
to
offices.
LOS.
Like,
Even the offices. I mean, and I did play with that computer. You said do not touch. No, just kidding.
I think Ben is the one that put do not touch on that. That was,
Oh, I thought that was your
no.
Did,
computer for doors.
How is upstairs? Like the last time I was up there was, I moved a few things to make it a little bit neater, but I didn't have the time to be in there. But
The one that's
bringing up the padding to the basketball court, so
the one that's over the kitchen is
Right.
like worse than the one that's over the bathrooms. The one that's over the bathrooms is kind of empty, but the one that's over the kitchen,
yeah. Well, the one with the
There's a
kitchen is the storage.
yeah, has a whole bunch of just
So
stuff that I don't think that we need, but and it's one of those things. It's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, because you throw it away, you're going to need it tomorrow.
Mhm.
If you don't throw it away, it's just going to sit there forever. So I don't know.
Well, the worst thing is you think you need it and you buy it and you realize you had it up there.
That's even worse too. Yeah, I know. We need to have like a master inventory list of stuff.
Yeah. So February 3rd, just
February
please.
Is that long enough? Because that's only really one weekend. So do we think folks are going to be in there enough?
that's 2 weekends.
Yeah, next
Yeah,
Yeah,
weekend.
this weekend and next weekend. So February 10th.
February 10th.
So February 10th, and then basically I'll ask them to take a picture of whatever they're. So in other words, if they pack something up and they said, we want this corner, this is ours, and take a picture of that so that we'll know that this is pickleball, this is softball, this is baseball, this is basketball. And then anything that's left will,
Baseball should have nothing in there. We don't store anything there typically. So, you don't have to worry about us, but, yeah. And also I think you want to invite the fact that they can throw stuff in the dumpster.
Yeah.
Point
Yeah,
that out. There was a dumpster on site.
Right, should we look in that old snack shack
yeah,
and clean that out?
I would just, that's
Donate
probably a
it
spring
and-
project. I would just wait until the spring. and we'll do
But
it.
if we're thinking that the Christmas tree could go in there,
Oh, that's true.
so if we can move things into that, should we?
And there's gifts underneath the Christmas tree. Who are they for?
They're tagging them, right?
No, there's no tags.
Should we clean that snack shack out, that old one?
Well, whose stuff would be in there? I mean, would it be?
If there's anything in there.
Right.
I'm
The
assuming,
last one that used it was the play group.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think she tried passing the baton to somebody else, and that just never happened,
Right.
didn't it? Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't opened that door to see what's
Yeah.
in that thing.
I don't even know if do we have the combo?
Got bolt cutters.
Yeah.
No, I think we're gonna have to. Unless it's the same.
So I think maybe we should clean it
I
out.
guess it would be the same as ours it's, I don't know what the old softball one is. Maybe it's still that. But
Could be,
Yeah,
Well,
probably.
if you guys
probably
know.
one of those two. I doubt it's been changed since then.
right.
All right. So February 10th.
So February 10th, but we also want to clean out that snack shack.
Right. Well, I don't know if it's gonna be done by then, because that'll be cold. I don't know if
Yeah,
I
I'm
really
not
wanna be
looking
up there. No.
February. So the
Well, 'cause
tree,
it's like, what do you do with the stuff? I mean, you clean it out.
all I would do is walk it over to that other dumpster.
Pretty
That's
much.
where everything's going. Fill it up.
There's no way. It's been
Do we still have-
sitting
do we
there for
have a-
2 years. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
clean it.
that's
I'm not
true.
gonna,
You might have some things helping you live in there. There
I
might
think they're gonna be very upset when they're,
jumping all over.
yeah, when their home
Yeah.
is disrupted.
I had a umpire tote at GMS, and the cover was left ajar. And one spring, I took it out and I opened it up, and there were 10 mice just flew out of there like ugh.
They're hiding from the snakes on the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish your snakes would eat my mice.
All right. So you want to do that? You're willing to do that?
Well, it is my birthday that weekend, so I'm
Oh,
not
for
doing it on
goodness
that
sakes.
weekend. But I
Is
can-
this your birthday month? You taking the whole month
This is my
off from
actual
doing
birthday month,
anything? You're one of those people.
February is my birthday month. I can do it this weekend. I have no problem dumping it out this weekend.
Okay. I think the weather's supposed to be decent this week. Sunday's going to be snow, but Saturday's going to be decent.
Okay, I'll do it this weekend. And I'm just dumping it. I'm just going in and dumping
Yeah,
it.
unless you go in there and you see something that you're like, oh my goodness, this
If something
is,
comes walking out or something,
Yeah.
something
Probably
furry,
gonna be
gonna
walking
Fair
away.
close the door.
because I mean, I don't know about the all the other stuff that you have for the Christmas in Litchfield. Like,
Mostly in boxes.
okay,
Yeah. So
Where did that stuff end up? Is it upstairs, or I didn't see anything really stored up there?
no, they just put it to the side. I'm not exactly sure.
Because there's a big box in the kitchen for that tree. I think that's on the, unless that's another tree, but I assume it was an empty box for the tree that's on the stage. But I don't know. Figure it out, I guess.
all right. Annual report. So I heard you volunteered for
Keith did.
Keith. Okay,
But
But Sandy wants it now, doesn't she?
Sandy sent, well, I haven't got it yet. I didn't check my email this weekend. She actually left, well, I'm sorry. So the annual report, we received that copy from Sandy, from Donna.
okay,
So I sent it to Keith. I think he's working on it.
okay.
I'm sorry. And the other thing was
The bylaws.
the bylaws. That's,
Okay.
yeah, Sandy
So we'll
had
get
that.
those. So that's
I'm thrilled about that.
Sandy had the
whole discussion
bylaws?
we had about we couldn't find the bylaws.
Found a
Yeah.
copy of it,
And
yeah.
Sandy had, yeah,
Did I
Sandy
miss
has
that
it.
email? Wow.
All right, so that's on to old business. We got, so the annual report, Keith's taking care of it.
Yes. He said he was he said he was going to work on it. Yeah.
And then old business bylaws, so that's good. And then the last old business we have listed here is the river access naming. So I wasn't here at the last meeting, so what are our thoughts?
We had an action item on that, right?
I'm sorry, go back to that again?
So the
River
river
access
access
name.
name.
Oh,
So we
yeah.
had discussed at the last meeting, we want to do something for John.
Right.
So
It was at the end.
that was one of the naming it after John. And I don't think Keith or you, Andy, were here
Right,
for that discussion.
So we had Mike was going to talk to Alan.
Yeah, Alan said all we did was ask the rec commission for permission. We never went in front of the board of selectmen when we renamed Dennis. So I don't know if the rec commission approved it and then sent it to the,
the only thing we had to get
Final
approval from the
approval.
Board of Selectmen for in the past was when we actually named that road for Sawmill.
somehow which never appeared anywhere.
Right,
Yeah.
but that was because it was an official road, so we had to get their okay on it.
Right.
I don't believe we had to go to them for the naming of the park itself.
No. Okay.
I don't think that'd be a problem anyway. I mean, I'm not speaking for the board, but I mean, even if you did formally go in front of the board, it's
Right.
not like, I don't think anybody's going to give you any resistance.
No, I don't recall. And I remember, I think Matt said something, he looked at some minutes a while ago from I think the selectmen,
Mhm.
and they had no problem with, at the time, I think even when John was talking about naming it, it was pretty much whatever
Yeah,
he
yeah.
wanted. to
Yeah,
do.
because I know that Jason had done a presentation, pointing there because he did it on the TV, but he did a presentation, and I think there were like 4 different names or 6 different names, and and people against Natticook because for some reason Natticook is just a broad expression across southern New Hampshire. It's not really Litchfield specific. They don't want to get into it, but anyway, we did have a discussion over that, and I think it was just considered the Litchfield River access. I think that's how it played out in the end.
Mhm.
So we didn't name it after a specific like Indian tribe or, you know, or region or anything. So,
And actually, I think probably, I mean, it would be a great idea to get the River Access Committee involved in this, just because, and they worked a lot with John on it.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, I think the actual, I mean, obviously we want to do it in his memory, but, you know, how do you want to name it? Do you know, and Sandy should be involved too.
Yep.
So, you know, do you want Bryant, John Bryant?
yeah, John W. Bryan or whatever his middle initial is. Or yeah.
Yeah, I think we were just discussing it.
Yeah.
We weren't, but we recognized the fact that we want to do something. But I think there's multiple things that have been mentioned
Right.
in the town for doing something.
But I just think as the way things are nowadays, just as a formality, let's just run it through the board of selectmen, please. And just, you know, again, I believe it's just a formality. I can check with Troy tomorrow, but it's just I just want to make sure that all the things are done correctly.
And I know Jason Brennan had been in touch. They in addition to naming something down there, they want to put some type of stone or plaque or something for John down there as well.
Like they did for Scott.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
But we want to do more than just the stone.
Well, naming it after, yeah.
Yeah.
But we can. So that's. And it's probably not anything we'd want to. And we never really did They did a soft opening. They never did really a grand opening of the
Oh, the river access. Yeah.
river access. So that can be something that's, as long as it's done before then, I think it would be great just to sort of have a ceremony down there for the grand opening of it. And,
Yeah, we never, yep. That would be actually perfect.
yeah. The other thing, and I don't have it on the agenda, it's just dawned on me because when I mentioned Jason, you guys got the thing I sent, or that I forwarded that he sent about the mapping.
Yeah, and the pictures.
So right now, he said they're only capable of doing one
One
picture
picture.
per location, but he said that they will probably be have the capability of doing more down the line, or we could do a single picture as a collage as a single picture. I'm just, the first thing that popped in my head is Dara. Okay, I mean, think of all the different activities we have going down there. It would be nice to have a picture of the Christmas tree there. It would be nice to have a picture of softball going on, just so that people go, oh, that's a softball park. Well, no, it's a lot more than a softball park. LMS plays their soccer games there.
Well, and technically, isn't it called Roy Memorial Park anyway?
Yes.
It is, but we always call it Dara Pond.
No, I know.
It's
Right.
Dara.
Well, honestly, that's part of the reason why I think that, even naming the river access after John, to do it now before it really sets in,
Yeah.
it'll carry his name.
Right.
Because it's tougher to carry a name once people are used to saying something.
Yeah. Well, it's like for
Different
years.
mode.
I mean, of course, with my kids having gone through soccer once
Mhm.
younger, I catch myself every time. I'm like, oh, it's a Brickyard.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Now these kids, it's the
Innis.
parents, it's Innis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it does take a little while. You just can't break your habit of what you call something. I don't know if I forwarded the spreadsheet he sent. I
We
thought
saw,
I did.
I saw a nice picture.
No, but there was a spreadsheet with the description of each place, and he just wanted us to edit
Oh.
that. So I'll forward that to you guys, and just especially Kurt, if you want to take a look at the baseball facilities, and if you want to take a look at just a little something, especially if like Innis Field.
Yep.
Something mentioned by
Right.
Scott.
Yep.
Because that's the one thing I did find. I remember talking to Bill Lonigan, the principal at CHS. I'm like, it would really be a neat senior project for somebody to do a write-up on everything. Why is it called Talent Hall? Why is it Roy Memorial Park? Why is it, why are things named after, because you have a memorial after somebody. It doesn't mean anything if people don't know what the memorial is about.
Yeah.
We want Bassett Fields. We want people to know why is that the Justin Bassett Fields.
That's one thing. The Bassett Fields aren't on that map.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that going to be open, by the way, this spring?
Mhm.
Nice.
All right, any other items?
We did get that email about the donation.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
$50.
Betty.
We accepted that, at a selectmen's meeting. So
Okay.
they would like to use it for the women's club, right?
Yeah, I believe that's
For
what it was.
So it's a holiday. Did we ever, I don't think they ever held a holiday one this year.
They didn't do it this year, no.
No, okay.
Oh, they didn't. Oh,
No.
because
The Christmas luncheon is what.
they had inquired, and I think that the way it worked was somebody would get the stuff, and then they'd just come to us with the receipts, and
Oh.
we'd reimburse them. And somebody inquired about it, but
Yeah, I don't
They
think
ever
it
held it
didn't
because they never requested the hall.
Oh.
Unless
Well, they
held
didn't
it.
do it at the hall. They've been
Oh.
doing it in the basement of the,
the
one of the
church,
community
right?
centers of the
Oh,
church, or just because it's smaller, it's warmer, it's more comfortable.
But
Maybe they did do it.
there was a woman asking because they were like, well, she's not around anymore. She always did this. What do we do? And I think that Troy and I came up with, well, she just would buy the stuff and then ask for, payback or whatever, return the receipts. So the $50, they want us to earmark that for next year for the next one. So.
Okay. Anything else?
I can't think.
I don't know. The only other thing, I resent that email today about the folders, the shared folders,
Mhm.
because I finally went in them and I got all the minutes out of the email. I got all of our minutes out of all the emails and put them in put them on my PC, and then went to put them in the shared drive. And then I'm looking at the shared drive and everything, like I look under my shared and it's everything. And then I was trying to figure out where to organize it best. And I went back and I found the folder that says the Rec Commission folder. And then you go in there and there's almost nothing in that folder. So I created the folders under there and put the minutes under there. But realistically, like we should be refocusing everything under that folder so that we have one spot to look at all the time. Because I'm sure we all have multiple Google Docs for different things.
But actually, I think I had talked to John Brunel at one point, because now that we have our own domain, the town is a Google town, we can do a team drive instead of a shared drive.
Okay.
Well, and the other thing is, to take it a step further, we do have a new website launching, I don't know, in the next month or so for the town. And that will also allow us to put our minutes for public view on that website too. So it's just a matter of kind of organizing the information, Mike, and giving it to John and having John.
Yeah, as I said, I yanked all the meeting minutes together, so they're all, at least now they're all in one place. They're not just sitting in the emails, which will be useful for trying to repost. And then, it's some of the other documents, like, if you could take all the agendas and dump them into, there's an agenda subfolder, and just get all the agendas in there, and then we just try to get everything in there, catch up. And if we want to move it over after, we can move it over after. But just as a starting point, because I started looking through the minutes, trying to pull out, like I said I would do last meeting, trying to find out, okay, what have we discussed that could become policies, should be tightened up. And I haven't finished that, but at least trying to get everything in one spot will help us as we go forward. I just noticed that, and I was just noticing that today when I went to try to finally just move everything. We're a little bit scattered.
Yeah.
So that, in the state, just a quick update. The state still hasn't updated the.
They haven't. Is it still just one?
Yeah, still just one. Still just one background check under the parks, whatever they're under water, whatever.
Yeah.
So there's only that one listed right now for background checks.
Okay.
So
We've been doing it every year. I'm pretty sure that we'll all, we'll get there eventually.
yeah, at some point they'll all be updated, and then we can say, okay, who hasn't been updated yet? But like, I know ours has been in for lacrosse. At least has been in for a while.
Yeah.
And I wasn't in charge of soccer's this year, so lacrosse's was in, but I'm not sure it still isn't posted yet. So I can't imagine anything else is posted either. So, or this stuff there just waiting around.
Did you guys request, did you guys discuss the request for that charity event?
Yes.
You did? What was the decision?
I'm gonna contact him and get more info on,
Well, I know Keith did, so we got
Right, we
a
got- we
little
got-
bit of info, but
but we
yeah.
have some specific questions. We're gonna ask him if
Does he
it's,
live in town?
that's what we're gonna ask.
Yeah.
Is, or somebody that's involved, they live in town, how will this benefit the
That's the
town?
first thing, right? They have to,
Yeah.
right.
And then I'll email him a form.
I don't even know, did he even say ever when they wanted it?
Just a
May.
Thursday night,
What was the date?
a Thursday night in May, was it?
May.
Oh, in May, okay.
May 8th, 9th.
8th or 9th, yeah, okay.
So I'll email him and hopefully get that information in the form. And if they want to move forward, I'll suggest to come to a meeting to discuss it. Especially the first, I mean, if it's a recurring thing, it's not as big a deal, but I think the first time somebody has an event, they really should come and be able to answer questions.
Okay.
Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right. Do you want to make a motion to adjourn? 'Cause
Last one in.
I don't know.
Do we have to wait for John Burnell to make a motion to adjourn? I'll make a motion
All
to
right,
adjourn.
perfect.
I'll second.
All right, with a motion to second, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Okay, we are officially adjourned.
Thank you.